Hi, oops, I got it. Hi, Soul Healing Tribes, Sandra and Mare. We just want to touch base with everybody, check in. April is a new month. March was very intense, and our theme for last month was release. And I'm gonna just have Mare talk about it a little bit, and then go into April and see what that looks like for everybody as a tribe.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, March was a lot about creating space and releasing in order to do that. And I think that that was very clear on a lot of different levels, at least on a personal level, along with those who I've talked to from the tribe and people sharing their experiences. There was a lot of letting go that had to happen really fast as a collective, and a lot of things closing, a lot of people losing big pieces of their life. So that's been huge on a collective. And then also people having to slow down and release in a lot of ways, not being able to do what we are used to doing, which is being extremely busy and on the go. And so a lot of people had to settle into this slower routine. And I think a lot of those kinks are still being worked out, honestly. I don't think that we have arrived at a place of really sinking into what March had in store for us. And I think that's really normal because I don't think it necessarily happens overnight. So our theme was very clear, and we are obviously very curious to see how you feel in regards to how March went for you as well.
Right. And just to add on it for March, we talked about release, about clearing space, making space, letting go. I know with everything that's going on, I think it put a pause or a break on everybody because we had maybe as women, we go into more of a survival mode during that time. We need to make sure, we have enough groceries at home. We got to make sure that our loved ones are okay. And, those that don't live with us, that, they're okay during this time that we're experiencing. So, just an example, for me, like I got off my path of, the whole release for March because of everything that happened. But once I got myself situated and said, okay, I checked off all my boxes and said, okay, now I can kind of let go again and get back to myself, back into the experience and back into the healing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I've heard a lot of people in that same realm of riding the waves, which really leads into these questions around how everyone's feeling. And I think before we dive into the theme for April, that's always a good place to start is, how are you feeling, and what are you seeing from other people or hearing from, friends in your circle, tribe members that you've shared with, family. So how are you feeling, and how have you been feeling, I guess, is my question for you, Z.
So once, for me, I saw kind of a progression of all this, kind of scaling up. And, we tried to stay informed as much as possible, but I felt myself going into this vortex of the media and the news and the social media and all these posts. And it was getting too much noise. It was too much to filter out. So by the first week, I had to really, evaluate that because it's not going to do me any good. And especially in a time that we need to keep our immune systems going, When we put stress on our bodies because of fear, anxiety of the unknown, then our nervous system just starts to shut down. Our body starts to shut down. And then that's where the sickness, the disease starts. So, I had to go back, and use our tools that we have been using, for and put myself in the spit again and saying, okay, Zan, I gotta hold myself accountable and things. And um and I'm grateful for those tools, because if I did not have those tools, I feel like I would be in a whole different mental and physical space. So I am grateful for the tools that we have and that we have developed. And, with our Soul Healing Tribes, the curriculum, I am really grateful for that, because just an example, as we're building this curriculum, I went back to the curriculum and be like, oh yeah, like here are the tools, like they work. And again, it's just I went in and step by step, and it's just like, yes, you do see those results, and it does help
Yeah.
with the stressors. Because for me, vitality is one, because if I'm not good, I can't be good for anyone else, and I can't be good for my loved ones, my family.
Right.
And I'm here to serve, and I'm here to help, and I'm here to do as much as I can um, with the energy that I have. So if my energy is depleted, then I cannot help and serve anyone else.
I can relate to a lot of those feelings of like feeling the spectrum of emotions. And some of those that presented for me personally were fear and some panic of the unknown and uncertainty. And then I had a few days as well of feeling okay. And that also came with some feelings of guilt and understanding that I am okay, but a lot of people are suffering. And I think the kind of analogy or metaphor, whatever that word is for that, is kind of like people on the front lines, right? They don't have time to sit into spaces of waiting around. They need to act in order to serve. And a piece of that is being able to understand that we are all playing a role in this, and that if I sit in guilt or I sit in fear or I sit in these feelings, there's a difference, right? We need to honor the feelings in order for them to move through us, but also then take some action into saying, okay, now it's time for me to offer what I can. And for us in this realm of the world, it's a lot around growth and healing and meditation and sinking in and relaxation. And you're right, the curriculum talks a lot about breathing and movement and nourishment and these pieces of getting into these spaces so that we're able to serve in the way that we need to, which is going to be different for everybody. So
Right.
I think the common theme here is that the last month and today and each day is coming in waves. And the entire spectrum is being offered to us in order to just really understand that we will have varying degrees and then coming back to our center, which is interesting because as Z and I were talking, as you and I were talking, we were talking about, what could be the month, what could be the theme for April.
Yeah.
And we both, we played around with a lot of things. We played around with accountability and change and shifting and slowing down. And a word that really landed for us was the concept and the theme of opportunity. So really feeling what is the opportunity here that's being presented. And a lot of people are going to have different opportunities. So for you, babe, what do you feel like is an opportunity that, is being presented to you?
So I think for me, the opportunity was already here. But now it's given me kind of solidifying that and giving me that validation. Um, and for I will say, just from my experience, is Soul Healing Tribes. You know what we're doing. We're building this online community, and you know when we can get back to in person too, but then doing the curriculum. Um, you know, so just so everybody knows my background, you know, I come from business, I come from management, you know, and I've been doing it for a very long time. And you know just doing stuff, um, just for the dollar, you know, did never resonated with me 100%. And now, this opportunity that you know it's been developing for Mara and I, throughout our friendship, throughout our past lives, has brought us here. And now it's just like it's really solidifying that you know we're doing a business, a soul business. So you know all these things that you know Mary as a teacher and you know working in districts and working under these guidelines, and we're taking out the you know the good parts out of it, you know, and leaving the stuff that does not resonate with us, you know, to those spaces, to those energies, and just bringing in what really feels good to us, and then bringing in our own little things that we know that will help everybody as a community, as a tribe. So that really feels good to me. You know, that we have been able to work with this curriculum. You know, I'm seeing it come full blossom. You know, Mary and I started with just kind of like a dream, and then we started mapping it out and start having discussions on it, and then you know kind of coming up with the bullet points. You know, what do we want to cover? So it required us to kind of go back into our learnings from all this, because we both wanted more. We both wanted also to help and serve others. We want people, as many people, to live in this energy, in this space where it's just you know no judgment, love, and just peace and harmony, and being able to do things, on a passion and a soul base, where you know nobody's going to come in and judge you or look down on you or give you a label or a status. It's just no, we're just all one. And with Soul Healing Tribes, the opportunity is like we're going to be releasing these tools, so people as a collective can come in and use this curriculum and go through it, and have us and have everybody around the community, the tribe, to go through this journey experience, because each of us has our own different experiences and things that we want to up level to, or things that you know that we just need to create boundaries, or you know just really working on stresses and anxiety and body and food and nutrition and vitality, and you know family and love and relationships. And this for me is the opportunity. And I'm just in awe of everything. It's just, and the validation that I've been seeing and Mary's been seeing and we've both been seeing is just like, this is our purpose. This is coming from the heart, from our soul, and we are being supported, and therefore we're able to support, you know, the tribe.
Yeah, I agree with that in so many ways, as that as a beautiful example of, you know, what is the opportunity for April, for this theme for this month. And I see it as an opportunity to keep opening our hearts, keep opening our hearts, keep waving at a neighbor, keep asking, you know, hey, what can I do to support you? And then also blending the the two pieces of self-care and service, right? I think we can get very caught up in these spaces of, well, if I am caring for myself for just even an hour every day, that means I am not serving enough. And for me, this is my opportunity as a person, as a personal human, is to come into my center as a leader, and also know that when I think of leadership, I think of being a true facilitator, which is someone who really holds safe space, who has non-judgment, who allows the spectrum to happen, safety, right? Safety, openness, love, expansion, and also understanding that we're just not going to do it always. We're never going to do it perfectly, right? But what we can do is we can come from a place of good intention and pure intention. And I think that for me, this is an opportunity to rise into that, and to also acknowledge that we all have the pieces that we're all going to need. This is a team effort on the collective, in our neighborhoods, with our friend groups, with our families, coming together and knowing that we all play a very vital role in the healing of humanity, in the healing of the planet, in the healing of everything. We literally all play a very special and sacred role of coming together. And so as these opportunities come up for you, for Z, for me, for you, for the tribe, for your neighborhood, for your families, then our next question then to you and to each other is, you know, how are you going to, we understand that this is going to create change in a more loving way, but how will you hold yourself accountable to step into these opportunities? You know, we talk about, okay, living from an open heart, or caring for yourself, or you know, opening up doors for non-judgment. How are you going to implement this, and how are you going to hold yourself accountable? So I'm curious to see what you have on that.
For me, accountability is huge for me because, you know, for me is what are my three ones that I say? Action, words, and energy. So they need to match. So if one of them doesn't match, then that's me holding myself accountable. And I'm consistently just being mindful of what I'm saying, what my actions are, and what my energy is.
Yeah.
So that's one way I keep myself accountable. And then, you know, I'll check in, like I'll check in with myself, and I'll check in with my closest. You know, I check in with you, you know, to see if you're seeing something, or if I'm like, hey, like I'm experiencing this, like, and that's the things, like with holding ourselves accountable, we still have like these thoughts, you know, that maybe are not a positive thought, but that's like kind of like shadow work too. Why are these thoughts coming up? You know, what do I need to unpack, you know, so I can push that out and bring in that energy that I want.
Yeah.
And also a good one for me for accountability is, you know, checking in with my son, you know, because he's a teenager, and I feel like, you know, that's a whole different energy, and their perspective is so different than, let's say, me or you, or, you know, another adult. So I always listen to him because, you know, sometimes he just, you know, just puts out little things and just makes me go like, huh, okay, I need to watch out for that. I need to be more mindful and hold myself accountable. And then, you know, with my partner, like check in too, like I have conversations with you, like I'm feeling, you know, this way, or this is coming up, and it's not a reflection of who I am. It could be patterning, you know, conditioning, and there are things that maybe I'm still sifting through and working on. So instead of just ignoring it and not doing the work, I kind of try to dive into it to see what that looks like, because if it's going to create a barrier between the tribe,
Mhm.
between myself, between my loved ones, then that's not a space I want to be in. I want to be in a space where it's open, where all those three components, the actions, the words, and the energy match.
Yeah.
Do they match all the time? No. And why is it not matching? Am I in a space, that my actions I can't do the same actions?
Right.
No, or am I feeling something within my body, you know, that goes to nourishment too. So if I'm not eating well,
Right.
then my energy shifts, or my words, will get jarbled up. My thoughts are not as clear.
Right.
So for me, the spectrum, nutrition and food and whole foods are really important to me. And if I see that I'm like, this is just an example for me, if I see that I'm diving into foods, maybe a bread or a sugar, and I'm going into it more than I usually do, why is that? And those are kind of just accountability
Yeah.
for me, staying mindful. And I'm like, okay, like, I need to work on this, I need to work on that. And what I do is, then I go into the tools, like how do I kind of get out of this energy space, push that out, and bring in that higher vibration in.
Amen. And I think, for me, I feel you on all of those very similarly. And something that I needed, because there was so much energy for me circulating kind of in fear space and shifting last week, that was really concrete for me and just so simple, right? Was I remember as a kid having these chore charts, right? And we put stickers on them, and mom made me do the dishes and, all of these things. And there was a small incentive slash feeling of accomplishment when I was able to put the sticker on. So there have been times I've used stickers lately. It's just been a simple checklist where it's like, have I drank 32 ounces of water in the morning? Have I just moved my neck a little? It's really sore. So have I moved it a little? And just being able to check that off has been a really simple, like, oh gosh, I got to post it. I got a marker, easy. I'm going to pick 3 things. How am I working with my breath? How am I working with movement? How am I working with just some sort of expression, right? Some vocal pieces. And then the other piece of accountability is, again, in order to serve, my body mind energy needs to be somewhat centered. And of course, I'm not going to be perfect in this. I can't always go into spaces where I'm completely open and loving and kind, because we're human, right? That's not really where we're at right now. But the truth of it is that I cannot serve from an empty tank. And so somehow and some way, I am going to have to keep myself accountable and come into a place of empowerment so that I can keep opening my heart. I can keep holding safe space. I can start to create action and activism around these pieces in my role, in my scope, right? My role in my scope might not be doing a community garden and feeding a bunch of people. But maybe my role in this big spectrum is to lead meditation. Maybe that's my role for this season of my life. And therefore, the accountability for me comes from a place of real service and being able to then hold space for individuals and tend to my body. And I think that that's what's been so inspiring for me lately in the curriculum piece, is being able to look at all the tools that are there, and it doesn't mean I'm always using them, right? You know, there are some days where I struggle, and this is where the accountability piece comes in, that if I didn't have a support network, I mean, my clients and the tribe and Yuzi and my parents and a neighbor, but everybody is here to support each other in one way or another. And it could be that you are, you know, making soup and giving that to me, and I help you by holding space on the phone as you're going through something. But we're all constantly in this thread weaving our piece of the blanket, and we look and we realize, wow, the blanket's big. So with all of this, I think that there are ample opportunities. I mean, these are just scratching the surface. There are so many opportunities. So I think it could be cool to have anybody who's, you know, watching this, tribe members, share like an opportunity that you're feeling, you know, that you feel could be an opportunity for you. And that could be a fun discussion.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing to remember as everybody's going through their journey and experiences is to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, don't be yourself. I think as humans, as women, you know, we're wearing multiple hats, we're multitasking, we're doing this, we want to do this, you know, but it's okay. Like, it's okay that if everything does not get done.
Amen.
It's okay if you don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
It's okay if like your energy is not maybe up to the par of what society says that it should be. It's
Amen.
all okay, because it's like it's a ebb and flow, right? There's going to be lightness and darkness,
Yeah.
and I think between both of them there's beauty,
Yeah.
you know, and they both should, you know, and they're both opportunities, this light and this dark.
Yeah,
You
they are.
know, when they come together, you know, there's a lot of transformation in that.
Boom. Let's yeah. I like
Yeah.
it. That's how I feel.
Transformation. So, you know, even though we're doing this work, and I know that sometimes it feel heavy, it's just like, as a tribe, you know, we had to come together and say, okay, let's let our shoulders down. Let's dance, let's laugh,
Yeah.
let's, you know, turn something on, you know, that just makes us laugh,
Yeah.
or go outside and color like when we were like little kids, or pick up paints.
Yeah.
You know, if you have little ones at home, like, get in with them, play
Yeah.
all the games that they're doing out there.
Let go,
Yeah.
release, surrender. Just like the relief of letting go can feel, it feels good, you know, and I know it really, we all know it really well. These shoulders get pretty fast.
Crunched up, you know, and then sometimes there's resistance, you know, because if we're in this energy state of what do you call it, like you're in this flight or flight mode, so you're just like in this resistance
Yep.
stage. Okay, acknowledge that, be in it, but then find a way to just like
Yep.
just like melt,
Yep.
melt, and let that, like, that divine, you
Yep.
know, that woman energy, that just like that goddess, you know, come out.
Yeah.
And if it's just like, hey, like, and then think of the things that will help you get into that space. For me, it's dancing. For me, it's doing like sound healing
Cooking.
or singing, you know, while I'm cooking, or yeah, you know, or going out in the sun, you know, going for a walk, going for a bike ride, or going swimming. Just find those little things that help you get into that full feminine, just where you're just feeling light.
So I feel, you know, Tribe is April, you know, our April update, and let's keep connecting. Let's keep sharing resources. Our intention for you is to see and, you know, harness some opportunities this month. And we can't wait to connect with you throughout the month. And we are working like little bees on our curriculum, and it's fun. It's been fun. Yeah,
Beautiful. Yeah,
it's
definitely.
beautiful. So we'll talk to you soon, and lots of love from me.
Lots of love for me. Love you, love you, love you. Bye. Ah.
Well,